As we work with linear equations, one of the forms that isn't used as much as some of the others is called point-slope form. It's got some very specific uses, ones that will be very handy in different cases. So as we look at this, this is the form. It says y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. Now, you might not be as familiar with using subscripts in these formulas. This just means the first x and the first y that's given to you. It's a specific ordered pair. So like here, this would be my x sub 1, and this would be my y sub 1. Negative 3 is my x sub 1, 5 is my y sub 1, because that's the first x and y specifically given to us. So x sub 1, y sub 1 on this is a point on the line. Now, it could be any point, so since there's infinite number of points, whichever point is given to you is the one we're going to use. Now on this, we have the m is our standard notation for the slope. M is the slope of the line. So when we want to use this to graph, so notice here I'm given my slope, and here I'm going to have to calculate my slope on this problem. So when you're graphing using point-slope form, you want to start with the point and then use the slope. That's the order that we usually do it in. So let's start with this one. So we're going to go ahead and put it into point-slope form first. So I'm going to just follow this. My y sub 1 is that 5, so y minus 5, equals my slope, which is negative 7/8, times x minus the x value given to you, x minus negative 3. Now, when we're graphing this, notice that what we can do is just start at that point. And so we're going to start at negative 3, 1, 2, 3, and up to 5. Up to 5 here, there's my point. And now you just have to do the slope from that point rather than when we're used to doing it from the y-intercept. So I'm going to go ahead and do my slope of negative 7. So down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then over 8 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's another point on the graph, and I can draw the line. If you want to do another one of going down 7 and over 8, you can. You get your graph here. So the graph of my line looks like this. Notice that this y-intercept is not a nice number to work with. It's going to be a fraction or a decimal. And so in this case, using the point that we're given to graph the line is more convenient than using the y-intercept. Let's look at this next one. We're given 2 points here. You might call this x sub 1, y sub 1, and this x sub 2, y sub 2. Now I'm going to first of all find the slope. So my slope's going to be my y minus my other y, 7 minus 1, my second x minus my first x, keeping that in order. So I get on this, I get 6 over 2, which gives me a slope of 3. Now to put it into point-slope form, like we said, there's an infinite number of points on a line. You can use any one of them as the x sub 1, y sub 1 on it. So we get to just choose which one we use. I'm going to just use the first one, though you could use the second. It's perfectly okay. In fact, I'll write both of them. This would be in point-slope form, y minus the y value equals the slope times x minus the x value. Okay, so that's the equation in point-slope form. Notice that if I use the other point and I did y minus 7 equals the slope, which is still 3 times x minus 6, these both, if I were to simplify into slope-intercept form, notice if I did y minus 1 equals 3x minus 12, add 1 to both sides, y equals 3x, add 1, you get minus 11. Okay, over here, same idea. Go ahead and distribute through the 3, so it's minus 18. add 7 to both sides, you get 3x minus 11. Same formula in slope-intercept form. Let's plot this point here, 4, 1. It's right there. On this one, using the slope of going up 3, so if I go up 3, I go 1, 2, 3, over 1, I go right about there. Notice that my point 6, 7 is right on that line. So both points are on that line. If you want to just graph it using the 2 points, you can do that too, rather than the slope. That works as well for the problem. But that, if you want to put it into slope to point slope form, you have to go ahead and include finding the slope first. All right, so these are my 2 problems for finding using one of the points and the slope to come up with the equation, and using the point first and then the slope from there to draw the graph.